You are working currently on writing another book. So obviously we have lockdown, and you said you have two children, and you're all working from home and so on. How do you find that? Can you give any tip to our viewers and your readers about how to, go through it, power through, or how is your writing process at the moment?
Okay, well, first tip is this: you always need a good coffee. Like, this is my second, and I'm already jittery on it. Yeah,
Cheers.
love that. So yeah, you need good coffee, and just the ability to power on through. No, it has been hard. It has been a challenge. When I wrote the first book, The Year of Saying Yes, I was pregnant, which actually was awesome because I could live vicariously through Izzy, the main character in that book. So she was going out on all these awesome adventures, and I was like sat at home, absolutely massive.
I love that.
Eating and drinking non-stop. So yeah, that was really fun to do that. And then my twins were born in 2016, at the end of 2016. So I had the boys, and then The Year of Saying Yes came out shortly after that. So it was like 3 babies all in one go.
Amazing. Amazing. I mean, this is so, and that is why I think it's such an honor to have you here. You're such a superwoman in writing, and being a mother and wife, and supporting your husband as well, and he supporting you up there. I love that, and this is like such an amazing example of a woman you are. So I applaud you for that.
That's really kind of you, Marlene. I'm not very good at taking compliments. That's very nice of you to say. My husband's been amazing. He has been super supportive. And I think in the first, so I wrote a second book. My second book's called Just My Type. And that came out shortly after The Year of Saying Yes. So I was writing that basically when my kids were asleep. They slept. They had a really good lunchtime nap, which is amazing. When they were little, I'd get like a good hour and a half at lunch. So I'd write when they were asleep. I'd write at weekends when my husband was around to look after them.
That is amazing that you then, that the kids were sleeping for an hour and a half, and you totally took that time. I mean, can you then just like sit and think, okay, I have 1 hour, off you go?
I think with a creative job like writing a book, it's such a strange thing to do because it is just the imagination. It's like I've got this like dream world in my head that just sort of comes out and onto my computer. So it is a weird job. It's not like, and I feel really lucky to be able to say that it's my job because I haven't got to clock in at 9 o'clock every day. It's not a 9 to 5, so I can fit it around looking after the kids. It doesn't earn like me masses of money at the moment, but it will do when I have.
Of course, we'll get to the film in a minute. So it is very inspiring because especially now in lockdown, you hear so much about working from home and having the children, and I think your example is an amazing example of how, I guess, organization as well can make it happen, can really help your dream come true.
So yeah, I guess so. It's if you're lucky enough to be able to do something that you really love, and which is what I am doing, and I'm so grateful for that because it doesn't feel like work, which I think makes a big difference. Yeah. It's just much fun to do. Yeah. So yeah, I guess there's a bit of that, but also like in terms of working through lockdown, I don't think anyone should put any massive pressure on themselves either, because it is such a strange time. And I think the main thing that we can do is just like look after ourselves and make sure we feel okay. Because, you see often on Instagram, there's always like someone, who's maybe set up a business or kind of got this huge, like amazing new thing going on. And you're kind of like, well, today I managed to feed my kids and I got out of my PJs at some point, and that felt like an achievement. So I think like a no pressure approach is a good way of looking at things right now, because yes, it's awesome to be able to get loads of stuff done, but also just sort of appreciate that these are such weird times, and just anything is fine. Like just go easy on yourself, I think would be my main message, because some days you don't want to have to do much, and some days, because it's so weird, like everything's so strange right now, so just take it easy, I think would be the main thing.
You touched a theme about, other people on Instagram posting this and that and so on. And it is true. We automatically measure ourselves and compare ourselves to other people, which is a subject in itself we can another time talk about, because it is such a big topic, especially now. But I think that is definitely a good recommendation, just to take things easy, one step at a time, and just be happy with oneself, and in whichever and I guess not only in lockdown but throughout life, just do what makes you happy, and that will be okay. You will be okay like that.
Yeah, definitely. Just go with the flow. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, and just accept that things are weird and things will get better. And if you can do something you really enjoy, then awesome, like give it a go.
So you were saying at the very beginning that obviously reading is like an escapism of the real world, and you like to do that when you were a child, and now you're saying it as as a mother, that you love writing and it's your own escape. So what do you prefer, writing or reading?
Oh, that's such a tough.
This is like the Marlene show.
I know you're not a journalist, but I think you could make a good one. So I love writing, and my favorite part of the writing process is to just pour ideas out onto a page. So just sat at my computer typing away, and I might look back the next day and be like, oh, what was that? That was absolutely nuts. That's not going to work. But that's the really fun part for me. But then when it comes to editing the book, that takes so long, and I find that quite tedious, because you've got a huge book to go through and you have to kind of make sure all the plot points are in the right place, and there's loads more work to it. Once you've written your first draft, that's like just sort of scratching the surface. There's loads more to do after. So the original writing is my favorite bit, but the editing, I'd say, is my least favorite bit. And then if it came to choosing between editing and reading someone else's book, then it would definitely be reading someone else's book.
So we did get a couple of questions from the public, which is very exciting. Let me go with the ones online first. So there is a lovely person asking, I want to pursue writing a novel, but I am nervous about the process. How do I get started?
Don't be nervous, because there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Everyone is different. And the best thing you can do is just have an idea, have a rough idea of where your book may be going, and just get it written, and don't worry about it, because no one else is going to be seeing it at this early stage. So write it, read through it, and see how it makes you feel. But I think you get a real sense for whether you enjoy writing as you get into a book, because it's a lot of writing. It's like, I think my latest book was 80,000 words, and that's quite short. So there's a lot of time to spend writing. So just give it a go and see how it makes you feel. But don't be nervous, because no one knows what they're doing in this situation.
Okay, another question, which I think you already answered. When is your new book coming out? Which is, I think, May, right?
Yes, May. Hopefully, it's a bit of a slow burner, this one, but hopefully there'll be some announcements coming, I think, next month. So sort of mid-February, I'm kind of hoping to be able to. It's all a bit tight-lipped at the minute, but hopefully we'll be able to make some more noise about it soon.
Amazing. Well, we all can't wait to read it. And then about the characters, one person asks, how do you flesh out your brilliant characters?
Well, that's really kind. I think what I always do when I've got a new idea for a book is get a fresh notepad. Let me show you here. So start a fresh notepad every time there's a, and each character gets at least a double page. So I start and I write their name, and then I give them sort of the main, most obvious characteristics of their personality. So I'll just jot those all down, like rough age, what they roughly look like, kind of major character traits. But then I find that just with writing the book, I get to know them better. It's like making new friends, I suppose. So the more you write, the more, just like in a conversation with someone, the more you get to know them. So it's a little bit like that. So I just let it kind of flow and see what they're like, and then anything that comes to me as I'm going, I'll keep jotting down in my notepad.
And then also with the characters, we chatted about this, and I said to you, oh, I can see this as a film, Hannah. I want this to be a film. So who would you, if it would become a film, who would you like to, or who would you cast as Izzy, Gorgeous George, Archaeologist Alex, and Tallulah?
Okay, I find this such a hard question because when you're writing, I think for me, I deliberately try not to picture anyone famous when I'm writing a character because I don't want them to become obviously that person.
Right.
So I come on and just kind of go with the flow with how I'm writing them.
So I think that is pretty much it with questions from the public. Just maybe a last advice for all of us in lockdown and in my positivity channel. Any positivity, any tips you can give your readers and my viewers to, you know, to hang in there. You know, January, the weather and lockdown, and it seems like it's going to be still a while that we're going to be in this situation. So any positive advice you can give all of us?
Oh, well, you're so right. It is a funny old time, isn't it, at the moment? And particularly now in January when it's just cold. I mean, we've got snow outside right now. So I think everyone just kind of is feeling a bit low. But I would say, and again, I'm no expert, but I am definitely a perky kind of person. So I will always try and look on the bright side if I can. So for me, stuff like wearing like colourful clothes, that cheers you up for sure. Also, not putting yourself under any pressure, like we were talking about earlier, just kind of go with the flow. If you're feeling a bit grumpy, that's okay. Maybe call a friend, because there's nothing like having a conversation. Treating yourself to something that like you really want to eat, like something delicious, why not? Getting curled up with a good book, I can recommend a few. But yeah, just read a good book or run a bath or like, yeah, paint your nails, or I mean, this is all quite girly, so whatever floats your boat, but just and indulge in it and just know that it will come to an end, because it's not going to be here forever. We will move out of lockdown soon. So exactly.
Absolutely. Well, Hannah, it has been an absolute honor to have had you in Lockdown Positivity channel. We all look forward to your next book. We look forward to hearing when it will be published, when we can get our hands on it and read it, and then hopefully we can talk about it again. And when all this lockdown is over, hopefully we can meet in person for a cocktail and a good catch up.
I would love that, Marlene. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a real treat, and honestly, I was so honoured for you to ask me. It's been lovely.
Thank you so much, and all the best. Ciao.